Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this very special tribute. Today, we come together to honor and celebrate the life of Kumaran Naidu, a remarkable individual whose presence, kindness, and spirit left a lasting mark on so many. I'm joined by Kyra Naidoo and Sheena Ramouthar, who will be sharing heartfelt memories, personal experiences, and reflection that truly capture the essence of who Kumaran was. This is a space of remembrance, gratitude, and celebration of a life that continues to inspire. How are you?
Hi, Siddharth.
Hi, Siddharth. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
You're
thank
most
you for this opportunity. And I think very honored to speak and share some of Mr. K's memories.
I'm honored to also have you all and to get your insights. So I'll start with you, Kara. When you think of Kumaran Naidu, what is the first memory or moment that immediately comes to your heart?
So, my first memory with Mr. K is dated back to 2014. I was fairly new to the whole industry. I didn't know anything about acting on set, but I've always watched his movies and it always inspired me. Yes, it was Indian local cinema, but it was stories that reflected people's lives. And that I think what really stood out for me is that you took a normal household, a normal Indian household, and you made it into a satire, into irony, right? So that itself was comedy. And my very first meeting with Mr. K in 2014, I auditioned for the Curse of Highway Sheila. I always spoke to Mr. K and we basically passed on emails to each other. And then he told me about the auditions happening. So I get there and I'm nervous as hell, right? So I did a scene from Hangover. And for the life of me, I just blanked out completely. I couldn't remember my lines. I was doing the part of Ellen, and I just I couldn't remember at all. So I was completely blanked out. Mr. K said to me calmly, "Child, relax, breathe in, take a deep breath in, have a sip of water, calm yourself down. Think of it as you're performing in front of a mirror where there's no one else around you. It's just you and your mirror, and deliver your monologue." And I think that's what really stood out for me is him believing in who I am as an actor or as an actress. You know, he didn't think like, oh no, this person is nervous and they will never be able to be on screen or have that limelight or any of that sort. He just said, be yourself, and the rest was history. And from then on, I've been assigned to Garuda Motion Pictures ever since. So I'm so grateful for Mr. K for every single opportunity that he's given me.
Wow. Sheena, what kind of person was Kumaran Naidu behind the scenes, away from the spotlight?
Okay, firstly, Siddharth, I think I'm going to have a bit of a trouble referring to Mr. K in past or was
Mhm.
because I think Mr. K is. When we refer to him, we're going to always say he is because he's going to live on through his work. So if I refer to him in the present tense, please, I'm
Sure,
apologizing in advance. Okay.
sure.
So Mr. K is a total prankster. Behind the scenes, off set, when the camera is not rolling, he will have you in stitches. You will be, everything that comes out of his mouth basically is a joke. He cannot be serious. So he is this vibrant person, so full of energy, so full of life, but so much of nonsense because he can prank you with the most straight face. You won't even know you're falling into that trap.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kara, how did Kumaran influence your personal or professional journey in a way that still impacts you today?
So personally, Mr. K believed in me when nobody else did. You know, he gave me the opportunity. He said, here's the limelight, go ahead and be who you are, you know? And professionally and or personally, is he accepted me for who I was. I was basically like, you know, when I came out to my family for being LGBTQI, and then later on, I became a trans woman. He still accepted me for who I am. He never judged me, not once. And I think that's so important, especially in this industry. And, you know, is acceptance and believing in people. That is so important. And that's what Mr. K always stood for. You know, he really wanted to empower people to see the best in themselves, to uplift them, and to allow them to grow. And that's so important, I believe.
True. Sheena, can you share a meaningful or emotional experience you had with Kumaran that reflects who he truly was?
I think when it comes to Kumaran, every meeting, every outing, every telephone conversation is an emotional experience. It truly reflects who he is, because if he loves you, then he loves you unconditionally, right? And there's just so many instances that, the conversations with Kumaran that we had, the I think the immense trust that he had, to trust me with some of his most, um, secretive stuff, like work that he is still probably still in his head, he hasn't penned yet. So that discussion is always meaningful. But one that really stands out for me is, the one that he had with my mom. And now that both of them are not here, it's really, really emotional. But I
Yeah,
remember it happened at the BP4 premiere when he met my mom for the first time. And he just went to her, and I introduced him to my mom, and he just hugged my mom, and he gave her a kiss on her forehead. And he says, Ma, I know where she gets her good looks from now. And then he said, Auntie, seriously speaking, your daughter is very talented, and thank you for sharing her with us. And that was him. Every time he met with somebody, he met with them with such respect, such love, such genuine, absolutely genuine feelings. And I think that's what sets him apart from anybody else, any other directors that I've met.
beautiful. Uh, Kara, was there a specific lesson or value Kumaran stood for that you find yourself carrying forward in your own life?
Thank you so much for that question. And absolutely. And the one thing that I would like to share is believing in yourself. Mr. K said, believe in yourself. Because if you believe in yourself, others will believe in you. And that's so
Yeah.
important. And that's what I take being a title holder for Role Model National South Africa, LGBTQI Queen. That's what I bring in my community work, is for people to believe in themselves, for people to understand that you have a purpose in this life, you know? So believe in yourself, and the rest will all follow gradually.
That's true. Sheena, how did Kumaran uplift or support those around him during challenging times?
Well, I think the most important thing that he believed in is creating opportunities for every single person. I mean, that was evident through his movies, right? If you were there during the auditions of BP4, BP5, you would see thousands and literally thousands of people that came through. They were standing there from what, three in the morning, I
Yeah.
think 3 o'clock in the morning, to do auditions. And he gave, I would say, 99% of those people a chance. So, when it comes to uplifting and when it comes to supporting, I think everything that he did was for the community. And every movie that he made proved that he did everything to uplift, people around him. You didn't have to be a name person. You didn't have to be somebody who had an acting background or somebody who came from the industry. It didn't matter to him. What mattered is creating that opportunity and allowing you, um, uh, to live your dream.
Kyra, can you share a moment where Kumaran's character or kindness truly stood out to you or others around him?
Absolutely. So, to Sheena's point, exactly the same. He treated everyone fairly and equally. Everyone was important, whether you were new to the role, whether you were new to the set life, whether you were an old cast member, you were treated exactly the same with the same amount of respect and the same amount of dignity. You were given that. Because for him, it was like no role is too big or too small. You know, anybody would be able to, how can I say, once you believe in yourself, you can achieve it. So yeah, that's what I had learned from Mr. K and all his values that he had instilled in us.
Amazing. Sheena, in your opinion, what made Kumaran so special and unforgettable to those who knew him?
I would say his passion, his commitment, his dedication, that unconditional love that he had for movie making, for storytelling.
Mhm.
Um, he had the ability to take a stone and make it look interesting.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. All right. Finally, for both of you, starting with you, Kyra, if you could describe Kumaran's legacy in just a few words, what would they be and why do those words feel right to you?
Okay, so firstly, my three words that I would describe him is vision, empowerment, and legacy. Vision because he saw a niche where nobody else had created it, right? He gave so many individuals, youths, an opportunity and he created that vision. Empowerment because he uplifted each and every single person in the community through his movies. And legacy because his legacy will forever live on. His stories will forever be told. And our future generations will keep and continue watching those movies and learning from it and laughing and enjoying and understanding what local cinema was all about. So those three words really embody Mr. K. It's vision, empowerment, and legacy.
Sheena, if Kumaran could see this tribute today, what message do you think he would want to share with everyone watching?
So knowing Kumaran, right? He'd probably stand there with both his hands on his hip, and he'll say like, "Why? Why are you making this into such a big deal? Why are you so much attention?" Yeah, but that would be him. But when it comes to delivering his message, I would think that you know, he would share to everybody is a never give up on your dreams. Um, do what you love, do what you're passionate about. Even if the path is really difficult, just trust in God and keep moving forward. And in his closing line, I know 100% he would say, if life gave you a Mari biscuit,
Mhm.
you butter it, you dip it in your tea, and you enjoy it.
Awesome. All I
Yeah.
gotta say, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for this opportunity. And yeah, still very, it's surreal.
Sure. Thank you so much, Siddharth, for giving us this opportunity. And I think one thing that we can all learn from Mr. K is believe in yourself and always have that passion. And once you have that passion and determination, anything is possible, you know, because he was a person who understood that giving the youth opportunities will help grow the future. And I think that's what he stood for, most importantly. And to create
Mm.
good content, comedy, so that everybody will be able to laugh and have a good time while watching it. So, yeah, we
Yeah.
really do miss you, Mr. K. And hopefully one day we'll tell you exactly, um, how much we did appreciate everything that you have done for all of us in Garuda Motion Pictures.
Take care.
Thank you.